Hello there and welcome back to another video, and we are previewing Chelsea versus Liverpool at the weekend on Sunday. Can't remember what time it kicks off, but it's on Sunday anyway, so hopefully we can enjoy that one. Hopefully I can enjoy it and I'm not put on a night shift or anything like that, because that'll just be devastating. It is no doubt the biggest game of the season already for us, and it's only the second game. We go to Stamford Bridge for this one, and it is a team that we're coming up against that have obviously they've done the business in the transfer window. Now they need that team that they put together to do the business on the pitch. Now Chelsea already had a strong squad anyway. They really, really did. It was his first year in the job. He got them top four. Defensively, they needed some work. They probably still need some work as well. And in terms of a goalkeeper, if anyone watched any of the Brighton game on Monday night, I think it was, yeah, you can see that they still need to do something with Kepa. They need to do something with another goalkeeper that isn't going to make the mistakes that he does. In terms of Chelsea's lineup as well, I want to go. So the lineup that they had out against Brighton on SofaScore, it has them set out as like a 4-2-2-2, with Mason Mount and Kai Havertz being like your almost like either centre midfielders, so they can tuck in if they need to be, or they can go a little bit out wide and be either attacking midfielders or coming in off the wings or something like that. And Timo Werner, Ruben Loftus-Cheek were in there as well. N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, Marcus Alonso, Kurt Zouma, Christensen, Reece James, who got man of the match in that one, scored a hell of a goal as well. What an absolute goal that was by him. And Kepa was in goal. Now, I wondered who was injured. So, for some reason, I can't figure out why, but Pulisic he wasn't on the bench, and he's not in the injury list either. Now, their injured list at the moment does include three new signings. Chilwell, Ziyech, and Thiago Silva. Billy Gilmour was also out for that game, and so was Kovacic. And now he was suspended, actually, so I don't know if he's still going to be suspended or not. But regardless of any of that, they will still put out, or still be able to put out, a very dangerous team, regardless of any of that. Timo Werner didn't score on the night, but he did win a penalty, which I think was the first goal that Jorginho put away. He himself went off injured. So, look, injuries look like they could be a very real thing for Chelsea, but regardless of any of that, we don't need to be, taking Chelsea lightly. They gave us problems last season. I think they beat us in was it the FA Cup? Could have been the FA Cup. I think we got beat 2-0 in that one. It was right before, or just at the same time, we were playing Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, or around that time, I should say, not at the same time. But yeah, they do cause problems. They've got options on the bench. They've obviously got some new players in. Whether some of the new players that are injured, maybe they'll be over their injuries in time for the Liverpool game, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But Timo Werner himself did pick up a knock against Brighton, but declared himself pretty much fit straight after the game and said, for these types of games, you need to be fit. You are fit. It doesn't matter. So it sounds like he wants to run through brick walls to face Liverpool anyway. Now, let's come to Liverpool. And Liverpool are buoyed massively by the potential 99.9% complete signing as of this moment at 9 o'clock at night on Thursday evening, signing of Thiago Alcantara. I say that because regardless of Fabrizio Romano saying that everything's been signed, he's signing till 2024 and all that sort of stuff, I'm actually, whenever I look up, I'm looking at notifications that are coming down as well, just to make sure I can, be as up to date with anything as possible. But at the moment, he's not in the shirt. He's not like at Melwood. He's not doing the Melwood lean or anything like that. Bayern Munich have said that he's saying his goodbyes, but still, I've been hurt before by Liverpool, and I don't want to tempt fate and be like, Thiago signed for Liverpool or anything like that, because I've seen things, we've seen things go down badly in the past. Not so much in the recent, couple of years under Klopp and, the whole transfer team that are working with him, but still, we will see what happens. People are already putting him in their midfield selection for the weekend, and I wouldn't. It'd be quite something for Klopp to say, here's a brand new signing straight into the midfield with barely any training with Liverpool. I don't see that happening. Even, if tomorrow being Friday, if any announcement is going to be made, it will be tomorrow when all the photographs and the film, the footage and everything's going to be done at Liverpool, whatever. Then an announcement will be made. I would say that if he is signed, Thiago is going to be on the bench. That is what I would say. People will turn around and say we should get him in the starting 11 as soon as possible. It's a risk. He is a world-class player, one of the best midfielders on the planet. Let's just say that. But still, I don't think he would be starting against Chelsea. If anything, he would be on the bench, maybe an option from the bench as well. But we'll see what happens with that one. I'm keeping a level head in terms of Thiago, because I don't know. I just am. I'm just very, very cautious these days about signings and going like, it's already a done deal when it's not actually been announced or anything like that. Now, I would love for Liverpool to follow what I would do in this game and go with a 4-2-3-1, but I don't necessarily see it happening. A 4-2-3-1 could combat a 4-2-2-2 as Chelsea set up with in the Brighton game, or as they apparently set up with. I'm not entirely sure whether I believe that formation that was in that game. But regardless of any of that, I think that Liverpool will end up going with a 4-3-3. You'll see the same front three that you always see. Firmino, Salah and Mane. The midfield, it will need to have Fabinho in there. It's going to need to have Fabinho in there. It's going to need to have Henderson in there. It's who you put next to these guys. People will be saying, Thiago, I'm not doing that right now. He's not currently officially a Liverpool player at this time, so I'm not actually putting him in the team whatsoever. Hopefully people understand that are watching this, but he's not in my starting 11 right now. Might be on the bench, but he's not right now. So it's either Gini Wijnaldum or Naby Keita or Oxlade-Chamberlain if he's fit. Now I want to look at Liverpool just briefly, see if we've got any players that are currently injured. I don't know if this app will actually tell me if it is or not. But regardless of any of that, let's go in and look at the last match that we had, which was against Leeds. A very, very difficult match as well. Probably a Leeds team that play a bit more fluid than Chelsea did on Monday night. But regardless, Chelsea will be getting themselves up to speed, more training, more time with the coach, more time with the rest of the team, everything like that. Now, we set up with Naby Keita, Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum. It's going to need to have Henderson in there. He played brilliantly even though he was coming back from injury. Wijnaldum probably edged it over Naby Keita. But Naby Keita can offer you something just a little bit different than any of our other midfielders can. When Naby Keita's on it, and he's on form, he's feeling good, he's playing well, he's integrated well into the team. He's almost unplayable in some aspects. But it depends what midfield we come up against in Chelsea's. If they come out with an N'Golo Kante, Kovacic, if he's fit or if he's unsuspended, whatever that situation is there, the likes of Havertz, whether he's going to use Loftus-Cheek or any of the other younger players like a Mason Mount as well, then we need mobile midfielders. So Fabinho would need to be in there, Henderson would need to be in there, and for me, it would have to be Naby Keita if we're going with three in midfield for a 4-3-3. That's just how I feel at the moment. Now, midfield seems to be less of a concern for people than the defence. A lot of debate is going on about the centre-back pairing at the moment. Now, I'll get onto that in just a second, but I feel that the midfield selection will help the defence. I said this in the review of the Leeds game. Having Fabinho on the pitch, even though sometimes he can be 50-50, he's either absolutely world-class or sometimes he loses balls in the most silly places and the most dangerous places as well for us. It means if we lose the ball in that place right in front of the back four, it can cause us trouble. But having him in there, being able to drop back as a centre-back almost, gives you a lot more security when you've got the likes of Trent and Robertson going down the flanks, and you're just left with either Van Dijk and Gomez or Van Dijk and Matip. So I would like to see Fabinho in there because it would enable us to be a little bit more solid, a little bit more protecting that back four. Because let's not forget, This isn't necessarily going to be Tammy Abraham or Olivier Giroud that we're coming up against. It's going to be Timo Werner. And if Timo Werner, the blistering pace that he has, probably, maybe, one of the fastest players in the Premier League, maybe second to Adama Traore. He's very, very fast. He's very, very quick, very good at accelerating and getting on his bike and just running. That is what you have to avoid. So when I see the calls for people to take Joe Gomez out and bring in Joel Matip, I love Joel Matip and I love Joe Gomez. I love Virgil van Dijk. I love them all. But Joel Matip would need to use a lot of positional awareness to make up for his severe lack of pace. That's the one thing that you will get. As fast as Virgil van Dijk is, Joe Gomez is quicker. Much, much quicker. Much more susceptible to giving away a penalty as well. So there are so many different arguments that you could use to select whatever centre-back you would want to put next to Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, Van Dijk needs to make sure that he's paying attention at all times as well, because he cannot make those mistakes, or that mistake that he made against Leeds. Definitely can't be doing it against Chelsea. Really cannot be doing it against Chelsea whatsoever. So, for me, I stick with Joe Gomez because he's a quicker player, he's a quicker centre-back, and he will not want to make the mistakes or be out of position as much as he was against Leeds. That will have been worked on, that will have been drilled on. Now, if Joel Matip is chosen, then I've got no problems with it either, because Joel Matip is a quality centre-back as well. Very, very, very good centre-back. Underrated centre-back in my opinion as well. Very underappreciated for what he can do. He can be very commanding in the air, and the way he can use his passing ability, his vision as well, is very, very good. When he jaunts into midfield, all right, he causes a little bit of worry because it's like, please don't lose the ball. Please don't give the ball away because you can't run back. It relies a lot on Trent and Robertson to be very defensively aware as well. Now, if we go back and look at that Chelsea lineup for the previous game, I have no idea where Pulisic was. I can only assume that he may be injured or something like that. But I can't imagine that if Pulisic's fit, then he will be starting against Liverpool, which is a very, very quick and unbelievably fast player to come up against Liverpool. Now, when we beat Chelsea, what was it? Was it 4-3 or 4 something like that, or whatever it was, near the end of last season, and Pulisic came on, he looked electric. He looked dynamite. He looked absolutely incredible. Now, if you pair that and you have Pulisic and Timo Werner up front as well, or as your forwards, and whoever else they might have as your right winger, so I don't know whether it could be Hudson-Odoi or someone else. Obviously, they don't have Willian anymore. He's at Arsenal. I don't know. They've got lots of different options that they could use against us, and that could also decide how we play defensively. We're not necessarily going to change our style of play just to come up against Chelsea. We play our way against everybody. But everybody knows now that Andy Robertson and Trent are going to be up the pitch. That's why I need to see, for me personally, I need to see Fabinho, I need to see Gomez, I need to see Van Dijk, and they all need to have brilliant games to cover each other, and also to make sure that Alisson isn't too exposed. Because as world-class as Alisson is in goal, you cannot be giving these incredible chances like we gave to Leeds and give them to Chelsea, because Chelsea will beat us. That's the be-all and end-all. If they make the same sort of mistakes that we did against Leeds, they'll beat us. That's pretty much all it is. There's no two ways about it. So yeah, that's what I'm going for at the moment. I need to run through that one again. So we're going with Alisson, Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Then we're going with Fabinho, Henderson, Naby Keita, I think I went with as well, because I think he would be more mobile. And then the front three. You know who the front three are. I don't even need to mention them. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win this game? Where do you think it's going to be won and lost? In my opinion, it's going to be lost in midfield, or won in midfield, I should say. Two teams that have very strong midfield. They've strengthened their midfield as well, obviously with the incomings of Kai Havertz, and when the other guys are fit as well, they're going to have a very, very stupidly strong team. And once it all starts to gel, it should be a very electric team. Make no mistake, this should be a very attacking game between two top teams that, you know, obviously we are the team that people want to knock down, that they want to beat because we've just won the Premier League. Chelsea have won the Premier League multiple times. So they're going to want to come back and stake their claim, and Frank Lampard wants to stake his claim at not just getting top four, not just getting third, second. He will probably want to challenge this season, and will probably need to as well with the amount of funding that has been put into this team. Yes, they had a transfer ban a couple of seasons ago, or maybe even last season, whenever. But regardless of any of that, Roman Abramovich does not settle for anything less than, you know, if he puts money in, he wants and will desire a title challenge of some sort, or European football, like Champions League, whatever. That's what he's going to want. And they're going to come at us strong. We have to go at them strong as well. Got to be clinical. We need Salah. We need the rest of the front three to be up to the levels of Salah as well. Haven't really mentioned Salah or the front three a great deal, but everyone needs to raise their game in that front three and be clinical. Clinical is what we need. 22 shots that we had against Leeds and 6 were on target. And if we're having 22 shots, I want to be seeing like at least 12, 14 of them on target. That's what we need to be having. Not just, no, can't be accepting 22 shots and 6 on target. That's not good enough, in my opinion. It's not clinical enough. They need to be a little bit more, have that killer instinct that Salah did. Yes, he had 2 penalties, but still, he had to put them away, and he did with absolute ferocity. But yeah, we need to be clinical up front. We need to be very, very good in midfield. We need to be dynamic. We need to be winning the balls back, getting the second balls back, and be accurate with passes as well. And the defence need to be switched on at all times. Cannot afford to switch off against any of these Chelsea players. In my opinion, I think that Liverpool will win this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go for... Let me think. What am I feeling? Let's get my feelings just a little bit. What are we feeling around here? I'm going to go with 3-2 Liverpool. I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet for Liverpool. I really don't. It's a dangerous Chelsea team. Very dynamic. I think they're going to give you something a little bit different. I think the Brighton game that Chelsea had has given a lot of people hope that, we're just going to rip through them. We're going to destroy them. We've got so much more quality than Brighton have and all this lot. And I get that. We do. But I think Chelsea are also going to approach this game a little bit different as well. I think they're going to have looked at the game they had against Brighton, and they're going to be much more prepared for coming up against Liverpool. So I'm going to go 3-2 to Liverpool, and I don't care if we get a clean sheet or not, as long as we win. That's all I'm bothered about. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. Please do get your thoughts and comments down in the comments section below. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. If Thiago does get signed, I'll do a video at some point. But hey, no pressure. There's going to be loads of other people that are doing videos as well. It's one of those things, isn't it? But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you haven't enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again. Have a great evening, and I'll catch you later.